Have the ball between my knees. I'm going to start with the pelvis press. So on my inhale, I'm going to tuck the tail under, finding that coccyx curl. Deep transverse abdominal muscles are engaging to create that Pilates scoop. And I'm going to lift my hips up to a comfortable shoulder bridge. Now from here, without adding any carriage movement, I'm just going to squeeze the ball, firing those inner thighs, which is helping trigger my pelvic floor. Also, I'm able to keep my pelvis nice and steady before I add any more movement on. Now from here, I'm going to keep that last squeeze. I'm going to take an inhale through my nose to open, and then exhale, I'm going to squeeze the ball and actively lift my hips up as I close. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze, and close. We're going to do 3 more. Now, typically, I do sets of 10 for the 2 feet variation, but for time's sake, I'm just going to do 5 today. I'm going to do 1 more. Now, I'm going to inhale, lower the hips down while trying to keep the carriage steady. And then exhale, I'm going to scoop those abdominals and peel the spine off again for 5. All while squeezing that blue ball. Exhale, lift. For 3, melting it down. 2. Last one. Now, let's go ahead and add a 1-leg variation. I'm going to take the ball, bring it behind my right leg. Good. Now I'm going to make sure my left foot is secure, hands down by my side. Same prep. Inhale, tuck the tail under, fire those deep transverse abdominal muscles, and I'm going to peel the spine off till I'm in a nice, comfortable position. My left foot is steady. Now I'm going to open and close. I like to practice the movement a couple of times before I add the movement of the right leg. Now, as I open, the right leg is going to come with me. As I close, I tap the buttocks. I want to keep my hips steady while the right leg is moving. That's part of the challenge. Abdominals are tight. I'm lifting from that pelvic floor. We're going to do 1 more. I'm going to keep my right leg where it is. Carriage is closed. Melt the spine down. Exhale, lift for 5. Exhale, lift for 4. 3. 2. 1. Now keeping the hips high, carriage steady, I'm just going to move this right leg. Hips have to stay steady. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Now here's a challenge. Can I release the ball and switch feet without dropping my butt? And I did it. All right, so here we go, moving with this leg. First, I just practice the movement. Make sure I'm comfortable. Make sure my hips are steady. Now I'm going to layer on this movement. Exhale, tap the buttocks. Inhale, knee comes with me. Exhale, tap the buttocks. Let's do 3. Still breathing. 2. 1. Now keeping this leg here, carriage is steady. I lower it down. Exhale, lift it up, open up that hip up to the ceiling and down. Exhale, lift a little bit higher than you think you can. 2 more for 2. Woo! And 1. Now carriage is going to stay steady, just the left leg. Tap the box, lift the knee for 5. Woo! 4, my right leg is on fire. 2, and I'm only doing sets of 5. 1. Good, now I'm going to release the ball. Both feet are steady. Right here, I'm just going to slowly roll down. Woo! All right, so now head and locate our straps. Now, for my reformer, note how long my straps are. I like to keep my ropes at the classical length. Do you remember the leather straps? The foot strap came to here, and then you had that clunky wooden handle attached to the foot strap. So I like to keep my straps at that length. That's how I was trained, and that's how I know my springs, so I kind of like to stick with that. So I bring my feet into my short straps. I know a lot of studios use the long straps for their for feet and straps, but I use the short straps, but my spring tension accommodates for that. So I'm using 2 reds here. Now I'm going to place the ball between my knees. So I'm not saying it's wrong or right to use the other strap. This is just how I prefer it, and it accommodates the springs that I'm using. So just like feet and straps, traditionally, I want to check in with my hips. My hips are heavy, my abdominals are tight, my ribs are down, so I'm not doing this. My posture tends to want to do this, so I always have to check in to make sure my ribs are not lifted and I'm connected in that core. Just going to start with easy movement. Inhale, lower. Exhale, I deflate my abdominals. I keep that tailbone heavy, and I'm getting a nice stretch right there, because believe me, my hamstrings are feeling it after that contemporary pelvis press. I'm going to do 3 more. I think probably in a class setting, I would do about sets or reps of 8. And I do know for the classical work, the headrest would be up. But when I do feet and straps, I typically always go into short spine, and I don't want to miss anyone's headrest in a class accidentally being left up. So just out of convenience and safety, I typically have the headrest down for feet and straps. Now from here, I'm going to go into what I call Dolphin Tail. I bring the knees in, extend up, and it's a nice, yummy, luscious stretch, but my tail is still heavy. And now I'm going to actively start squeezing the ball a little bit more. Remember, anytime you engage those inner thighs, it helps trigger that pelvic floor. And remember, the pelvic floor is always the star of the show. I really feel like I should get some t-shirts that say pelvic floor is the star of the show, because it is so important that clients understand how to utilize the pelvic floor. Now from here, I'm going to bend and stretch. So I'm going to inhale, lengthen, exhale, tuck, and I'm going to squeeze. We're going to go for 6 and squeeze for 5, 4, 3, I'm feeling it, 2, and 1. I'm going to come halfway in, tiny little presses for 8, 7, 6, squeezing at the same time. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now I'm going to hold it halfway and squeeze for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead and layer on some short spine, my all-time favorite exercise. Inhale, lengthen. Now I'm going to exhale, scoop those abdominals, and squeeze the ball as I peel the spine up as high as I can. Carriage is closed. Now, still squeezing the ball, I'm going to bring that ball and my knees over my shoulders. Now I'm going to keep my feet here as I roll my bum away from my feet all the way back down. And I'm trying to stay as steady as possible. And I'm going to start again. Inhale, lengthen. Now I'm going to do 1 more with my hands down, and then I'm going to change it. Carriage closes before you bend the knees. Inhale, bend the knees. I'm maintaining this lift. I don't want to collapse right there. And I'm going to exhale, rolling down, keeping my feet where they are. And now, if you want to layer on a challenge for your clients, you can have them reach their hands to the ceiling. That way they cannot anchor in the hands. They have to solely recruit that core to create the lift. Really have to hollow out those abdominals to lift. Whew! Inhale, bend your knees. Knees come over the shoulders. Same thing happening here. I just can't anchor in the backs of my hands or arms as I come down. Let's do 1 more here. I often like to add a challenge, especially if in a group class. So for those who are more advanced and want the challenge, they can partake in the challenge, and the newer clients don't have to. They can stick with the easier variation. I do not level my classes because I feel like a good teacher, if she gives enough modifications and variations, can accommodate everyone. Now, I'm going to add on to it from here. Another bell and whistle. I call this Candlestick, and it goes great with the ball. So, I'm going to inhale, lower my hips just 6 inches. Exhale, deflate those abs, and lift and squeeze for 8. Inhale, lower, lift and squeeze for 7. Remember, recruit those deep transverse abdominal muscles to create the lift. I'm hollowing out that abdominal cavity right there. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. How about some high front? Bend the knees, bring the knees over your shoulders. Now really pressing into the backs of my arms, drawing those shoulder blades down. I'm going to extend out. Exhale, bring it in for 5. Exhale, bring it in for 4. Hollowing out those abs right there for 3. Whoo! 2. And 1. I know you probably can't tell on the camera, but I really am shaking. And I didn't do all the reps I normally do. So now let's go ahead and ditch the ball. And let's do some circles because my legs really need a nice stretch. I'm going to lower down in parallel. Open from my hips, turn out my toes in circle. Whoo! Feels good. Keeping that tailbone heavy. Keeping the ribs connected. I always have to keep an eye on my own posture because I have such a lordosis that I tend to bend in the low back too much or arch the low back, disconnecting from my ribs. And then I'm not strong and I'm not anchored in my core. My powerhouse is useless when I do that. So I wish I would have had Pilates when I was younger. I was a professional ice skater, and I feel like if I would have had that strong powerhouse connection or understood it better, that I would have been a better skater and probably not have the back issues that I have today. I have arthritis in my lower lumbar spine from all of the falling. I probably would have still fallen if my core was stronger, but I probably wouldn't have the injuries to it that I have today. So Pilates is so great for young athletes, especially women. Growing bodies, it's so important to learn body control and where your body is in space while moving. All right, one more, because it just feels so good. Whoo! So I hope you give it a try, and I hope you like it. And if you do like it, let me know.